Hello. Uh, Regrettably, computer mean to me, so I'm drawing. Time to art. Yay! Surely this will work out. I don't know what the problem is. I've spent like 4 hours today doing like test streams, and all of them were Borkin, no matter what I did. Anyway, whoa, the art reveal. Oh, whoa, look, I drew a sketch this time so that I maybe finished the drawing that I'm drawing. Uh, it's been a while. I don't do enough drawing streams, but I don't know what I'm supposed to say during them, so I feel like they're lame. Born to game, forced to draw. Against my will. Against my will, I draw. Okay. Turn that down. So, last time I did a drawing stream, I said I was going to upload a video featuring the drawing, and then I didn't because I got brain worms about it. It took too long, and I decided I hated it. So, recently, I've been speed running some drawings and videos and such, so that hopefully I will be able to cure my brain worms, and I will actually upload things on the internet like a real person. So I do have something that is very nearly finished, and I will probably be uploading that quite soon, because I need to draw like one little piece of background art, and then stick it in the video that I have done, and then it will be finished, and it'll be good, and I have spent a short enough amount of time on it that I don't hate it. It's got this I was so excited, murder. Evil crimes. I don't think you can see the... Oh no, you can see the file name. It's for a cover of a song about getting cheated on and then murdering your cheating spouse. You know, all fun things. What? I didn't really think about this. What pencil do I want to use? They're all so small. That's too crunchy. I might just go with my basic normal one. I feel safe. I don't know where to start. Look at this hand. Is that a good hand? This one I traced from my own real actual hand, but this one I drew all on my own. Drawing a clenched fist is really hard, you guys. Okay. I'm gonna change the color of this, actually. So that I don't get confused when I'm using black. Thank you for appreciating my hand. I'm really happy with it. I, have had basically nothing to do at work for the past week. So I've just been drawing my own hands on pieces of paper, so I feel like I've gotten in a lot of hand practice recently. What part of the body do I want to start with? We'll just do face. I'm really happy with it, I say, with pain, moans, and gritted teeth. Me with everything. Oh, I accidentally merged that layer. These lines feel weird. I think just because the sketch is so fluffy. Use a different pen, it feels strange. I'm really upset about my stupid computer being mean to me. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did to earn its ire. I wasted my entire day trying to figure out what the issue was, and I, like, read like a million forums, like forum threads from the OBS forum, and it seems like literally everybody just streams on Twitch because all of the solutions that people were giving were like, oh, we'll check this website that tells you what's wrong with your Twitch stream, and then it'll fix the problem. And I haven't used Twitch, so I don't know what to do about that information. Very strange though, because my laptop and my big fancy gamer computer are in the same room, and they're only like, I don't know, 8 feet away from each other. So I don't know why there is some sort of internet problem that happens on that one and not on this one. It's weird. It makes me think that maybe there really are demons in there. I feel like I'm gonna draw a bunch of lines and then decide that actually I don't want it to look like that. And then have to erase them all and redo them. I haven't really thought very much about what, I don't know, style I want this to be in. Because the actual image from the original video is just this. But I saw... I did cover research. And I looked at all the other covers that other people have done of it, and usually they go really hard on the marriage angle, and they put somebody in like a wedding dress. Didn't mean to do that. And I don't want to do that. So I had to come up with something. Something new and unique and special. Demons are out to get me specifically. Maybe I should start going to church. Do you think a priest would be willing to do an exorcism on my computer? Because at this point I might have to just get one. That looks bad. I don't like that there's a lump there. Nobody but me will notice the lump. Okay. Is that better? Perhaps. I should probably draw more of it before I start moving things around. I do want to leave the face on this for last because I'm thinking of doing expressions for it. I'll think about it as I continue, but I don't want it to just be an image with nothing. I hate it when a video is just an image with nothing. I also put absolutely no thought into what clothes might be on her, so that's a fun little job for later. Computer's haunted. I'm just really stuck on the computer thing. I don't know what causes that. Because like I said, the computers are both in the same room. They're not far away from each other. There's nothing extra blocking anything anywhere from the internet getting to it. And while I was doing my 4 hours of troubleshooting today, I had my laptop open so that I could, like, look at stuff on it while still monitoring OBS, and it stayed connected the whole time, and my streams kept disconnecting. So they're both on the same internet. I don't know why the internet would decide to disconnect on the fancy computer and not on the old computer that isn't as good. Very weird. Remember when witches were on Tumblr and witches on Twitter and Tumblr were having a collective panic attack when someone tried to hex the moon? I don't remember hexing the moon. I do remember some Tumblr witch or whatever got into an argument with somebody once, and they were like, "I'm tired of fighting with you. May your womb be barren," and like they posted like some sort of evil rune. They're like, "I'm sick of this. May your womb be barren." Just during a Tumblr argument. That was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite things about the Tumblr witch era that was happening. Also, when somebody tried to sell human bones on the internet, that was wild. That was certainly a crazy couple months. People facing each other's IP addresses or posers compared to her. If you really want to threaten me, post an evil rune. IP address is baby level. That's nothing. Human what? Yeah, there was somebody on Tumblr who was a witch, and she was like, she lived in, I think, like Louisiana, maybe, and she was going to cemeteries and stuff that had like been flooded, and just picking bones up out of the like flooded areas, because she was like, well, they're not in the ground anymore, so they're free for the taking, right? And she was like using them for rituals and selling them on Etsy. And people got like understandably upset about her selling human bones on Etsy for curses, and that was a whole thing. You kind of had to be there. I'm gonna leave that so that it doesn't interfere with the hand. I don't want to make a tangent. But yeah, there was an era on Tumblr where there were just like so many witches and they were all doing insane things. The government doesn't want you to know the bones are free from the cemetery. You can just pick them up. I think it's a crime, actually. I think that's considered grave robbing. I don't really remember how that ended. I think she just got, like, cancelled, and everybody was really mad at her. And then I never heard anything further because I wasn't big into the witch side of Tumblr. I only saw it when it got crazy, and other people started posting about it. I feel like I need to stop turning off layers before I'm like finished with a shape, because it just looks weird and it tricks me into thinking that it's bad when it might not be. Another goofy anecdote I heard was somebody tried to astrally project themselves to heaven to fight Allah, and they did not have a good time. Why would you do that? That sounds like a bad idea. That's literally God you're trying to beat up. It reminds me, I saw like a screenshot from 4chan where somebody was like, I don't know what they were responding to, but they said, "Oh my god, you wore purple sweatpants to astral project? I hope nobody saw you. Would it kill you to dress up a little before you go gallivanting across the universe?" And that's such a good line. I've been thinking about that periodically for like a couple of days. It feels like it's like too close. What shape is my head? Which these days don't have the swag and status good robes afford you. Exactly. If you have to astral project, you need to look cool doing it. Why use your super cool wizard powers and not try to look stylish? What am I doing here? Why do I keep opening that layer? Get that away. Put that somewhere away. I think my problem is that this bit of the face is too wide. It's throwing me off. Very DM, real DM, wizard DM. All my special rituals, I have my public appearance robes complete with burning candles around my collar and neck. Oh man, stay safe, dude. I'm not sure if that's... Make sure you don't like trip and fall. Candles form a pentagram and keep my mind safe from mental assault, and the CO2 gives me vision. Oh, well, if it's giving you vision, then that's fine. That sounds like it helps. What's wrong with me? Why does this look bad? The sketch looked so reasonable. Might be a little better. Drawing heads at angles is hard. I don't like it. But it's the only way to make a picture look interesting. I'm gonna switch to the hands so that I feel better about myself. think I drew too many lines on that one. Yeah, it looks crunchy. How do I smoothen that? Might just have to redraw it. That's fine. Time to get really quiet while I try to draw a hand properly. Why does this look so much like weirder? Why is there a car going by my house so loud? This looks weirder than the one that I drew in the sketch. Extra sketch lines always make everything look better. Oh, that looks weird too. There's not enough lines. Whatever. I'll live. Don't hate me because my spells are stronger, Muggle. Maybe if you got rid of the Roman wizard hat, you get some summons in your ritual circle. Jeez. What is it from? Is that like Grand Theft Auto? I feel like it is. Should those be another set of games that I'll be really entertainingly bad at? Like they're classics. Remember when all the Japanese VTubers were quoting that one character saying that one thing? What a time to be alive. Okay. Don't we all? I want to go back to those days. GTA's already been not like mandatory or anything. The gamer credit isn't getting approved. He did say that was a very good line. It's pure comedy. I know my gamer license isn't getting revoked for not playing certain games, but I never know what games I should actually play, because I'm a fake gamer girl and I'm not really all that deeply interested in them. I just kind of find things and I'm like, that looks probably okay. I have a bunch of games like on Steam that I bought but am afraid to play because I know I'll be really bad at them, and I'm not sure if I can deal with that kind of mental turmoil. Maybe someday I'll play all of the BioShock games that I have and all of the Batmans, but that day is not today. Especially if my computer keeps doing whatever it's doing. I'm probably just gonna, I don't know, set aside all of tomorrow to just do everything I can possibly think of doing. My niche genre I've been very interested in is chess roguelikes. How do you roguelike chess? I don't know anything about chess. Or roguelikes, really. That would be horrible. Chess is on the rise. I remember there was a point a little while ago where like all the youth was getting very into chess for some reason. I think the way I'm gonna do this is like, since the original is black and white and like hard black, I'm probably gonna do like big black shadows, so I'm not gonna worry too much about things maybe not connecting in certain areas because I can just cover it up with spot black and then the problem is solved. Nobody will ever notice because it's just gonna be so stylish. I'm also trying to be a little less afraid of using the smoosh things around tool because it's not gonna be huge. So people probably won't notice. Nice looking hands, thank you. This one I did all on my own. This one I did take a picture of my own hand and sketch over it because I'm bad at drawing clenched fists, but if you just focus on this one, we can pretend I'm actually skilled. Shotgun King, where you're the Black King fighting the entirety of the white team with nothing but your royal shotgun. I didn't know they let kings do that. Yeah, there's just add extremely fair and balanced chess pieces you can buy. I do love it when things are fair and balanced. I'm gonna stop fudging that one. Next finger. Watch the illusion be broken when I put nice clean lines on it, and you won't be able to magic up a good finger in your mind. Sketches really do make everything better. I wish everything could just be a sketch. Fingers always look kind of like weird and wormy when you try to draw them from the front. This looks too big, I think. I'm gonna have to squish that down. I don't know if that's any better. I'll leave it. I may just have to resign myself to putting a bunch of extra lines on things. I always try not to draw hands like too cartoony, but then the rest of my drawing looks way too cartoony in comparison. I don't really know how to make the hands look like they fit. The real human hand, cartoon head. I'm probably gonna have to just do some more work on the head area. I might cut that out. And oh no, I accidentally selected white. I might have to cut this out and possibly redraw some of it. Just make sure that's on a different layer. Maybe turn it down a little to remind myself that maybe I won't leave that there. I have to trust the process, as they say. Putting that further down because I'm gonna forget what it is and keep turning it off instead of the actual sketch that I want to turn off. It might also be that this one is turned a little bit too much. Does that help at all? Maybe a little. Surely a heavy black line will solve all of my problems. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. That may have perhaps helped a bit, slightly. I do kind of want to do more drawing streams, just because it's easier on my poor little brain. Even though I'd complain about it, it's easier on my poor little brain than trying to successfully play a video game. But I feel like there's not really anything for me to draw. I can either draw myself, or I guess, I don't know, draw fan art of people, but I feel kind of weird doing fan art in general, because I feel like I'm gonna do it wrong and get in trouble. I'll have to think of some stuff that to draw. I might have to do research on what other people do if they do drawing streams. Despite the fact that I do often need to draw pictures of myself. I feel kind of conceited doing it. Is that weird? It feels like I'm drawing fan art for me. Something about the length of all that is not looking good to me. I might shrink it down so that it looks like it's a little more pointing. Keep picking up the wrong layer. And then it would be like... Drawing fingernails looks so gross on a cartoon. Like, uncanny. And this is the tip of the finger. Like, theoretically it looks right, but it feels creepy to me. You should be your biggest fan. Nah, I'm like... mildly interested in myself at best. I spend too much time with myself, and you know you should never meet your heroes. I'll fix it in post, I'll fix it in post. It'll look better once I put a whole bunch of black shading on it, I'm sure. I'm sure that'll work. I'm sure that'll make everything all better. I love drawing, and I love streaming, and I love having fun on the internet. Sounded like a dump in my own. Your nails are like old style cartoon. Yeah. More like a real cool professional artist that's good at things. I think probably... I have a vague understanding of what hands look like, and usually I can fudge it, but this one is giving me a little trouble. Are you feeling retro enough? I don't think so. I don't think I'm sufficiently Marvel or DC pilled. I think it's just this one. I think it's just that this one is too much to the side, which sucks because I like it has a good shape, but I don't think it's working out. Time to sketch a new one over it, I guess. Does it look any better? Maybe a little... I always draw fingers so, like, fat. I do not draw pretty attractive anime girl fingers. Looks weird too. Why does everything look weird? No, no, this one looks too big. I was overconfident. I was overconfident about my sketch. I was like, this sketch looks really good. Foolish. Maybe black lines can't save everything. Trying to move the pose in my own hand looks very different. Yeah, it's probably a little bit of things just being the wrong shape. It's supposed to be like significantly closer to the camera than the other hand. I was like holding my own hand up doing the shape like in front of myself, but it's hard to eyeball it. Which is why oftentimes I will just take a picture of my hand and then trace over it and hope for the best. I also tend to make like the thumb too long. Mostly if I'm drawing a hand, it's just a whole lot of trial and erroring myself into making it look like an actual limb. It's a very good thing I draw on a computer, because if I was drawing this on paper, there would be holes in the paper from all the erasing. I'm embarrassing myself online by not being able to draw a good hand. It's like a really close position. It feels weird. I am going to get lost in my layers, I can tell. I've already done it a little bit. Basically just gotta smush stuff around until it looks mostly correct, and I can trick myself into believing that it's good. I just remind myself, ah, the sketch. Oh, back when I liked it. Okay. Screaming, crying, throwing up. That feels like the palm is too skinny. No, over there. Okay. sketch on again. I'll just do the arm. This, I think, needs to move up. So that they look like they connect over here, because that's where the wrist goes. I'm gonna get rid of that because it's gonna confuse me at some point. The hand box. It looks kind of like a dreidel. Okay. Thumb goes there. Pinky goes here. One of my things with hands that I've noticed while drawing my own hand 50,000 times in the workplace when I'm not doing my job is I tend to, when I cartoonify stuff, I draw them like out too much. I give everybody like hitchhiker's thumb, but in real life, at least on my hands, they're just kind of straight up and down, sometimes even like curved in that way. So I always cause problems for myself by making things a little bit too out like this when that's not how fingers look. Even on my reference drawing, I feel like I'm bungling it. I hate when I click the rotate button. Okay. Now, let me science this out. Thumb is still generally in the same place. So I think pointer finger should maybe be a little bit closer to the thumb. Perhaps down a bit because it's kind of bending forward. Maybe. Yeah, seems mostly right, and then the ring finger goes hereabouts. Maybe a little bit. I make pinkies and thumbs too big. That's my problem. I feel like fingers shouldn't be that small. Probably needs to turn more towards the camera as well. Save me, liquefy tool. I'm gonna have to go over these lines again just because I'm gonna be mad if they're too smudgy. I need to try and convince myself that it doesn't really matter. But it's just so difficult. I stare at my own hand for a minute. It's not the layer I wanted to do that on, but it's fine. Middle finger, I think, needs to be shorter. I'm glad you're relaxed. I'm sweating. I'm like, oh god, oh, please. Please come together. Please work. Another sort of facet of my problem with drawing things correctly is that I use erasing too much as a crutch. Yeah, I sweat so that you may chill. But I've noticed, if I'm like drawing on paper with pen, I feel like I'm significantly more confident about it. Because I'm like, oh well, whatever happens, happens, and then it ends up being good. But if I have the ability to erase, I will overuse it and overthink. And I'll be like, is that line really as good as I think it is? And then get rid of it, and then I'll regret it later when I can't go back. It's a lot easier when I have like an actual original image as sort of a style guide, because otherwise I think too hard about how I draw things. I can't merge any layers until I'm done with this, because I will absolutely merge one of the like scribbly colorful layers onto something where it's not supposed to be. And then everything will be ruined! Every character I draw is cursed with sausage fingers. I'm gonna put all this effort into trying to make this look anatomically correct, and then I absolutely will go over it so that there's less lines. Because the amount of lines on it are already making me a little upset. This is just for me to convince myself that I know how to draw. My money and time was not wasted in college. I totally learned something. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it was something. That's alright. Okay. Everything get off my screen. Everything get away from me. What layers do I have? Okay. Get rid of this. Put it in my junk folder. Every drawing that I do has a junk folder because I don't like deleting things permanently, but I also don't want to see them anymore. You can get your opacity down and put under the sketch. This can just be gone, I don't need that. I just want to know where this is. All the other stuff. What other things do I have here? This looks like an empty layer. Is that an empty layer? Or is that something that's hiding from me? I think that's just an empty layer. Goodbye. If you were important, oh well. Why do I have so many empty layers? Why did I put these here? Who are you? Okay, that one's at least useful. There. Merge that. Merge that as well. I don't know if that's any better. I'll leave it. I'll figure it out later. Why am I capable of putting my hand in this position in real life, but then when I try to draw it, it looks strange and evil and incorrect? The great mysteries of life, I guess. It might also just be because I have weirdly bendy fingers. maybe hands aren't supposed to move like that, and I'm the one that's wrong. No, get out of here. Okay, you can also get out of here. How much of this should I be moving? No! Wrong one! Yeah, okay. That needs to be moved down significantly further. Like that. Now it looks like it could conceivably connect. That's fine. Delete some lines. Just move the joints downwards. I feel like maybe things are too long. I feel like that immediately helped. I might just be gaslighting myself, but I do feel like that made it look at least a little bit better. That's what I call okay enough for now, except for this one thing that I'm gonna move now that I looked at it a little bit smaller. Now it's okay enough for now. It's fine. I need to stop myself from messing with it further. I'll come back to it with fresh eyes, I guess, later. Also, I realized I haven't saved in a while. Had to make sure I got that in. Oh, I love a nice long straight line that I don't have to fudge with too much. If only it could all be so easy. My hands are always extra crackly when I have to draw. I hope that's not a sign of something horrible happening. And it's fossilizing. I'm turning to stone. Moved everything. I have to remember to periodically just merge everything so I don't get lost. There's basically no reason for that line to be there. I don't know why I felt like I needed to do that. Get it out of here. The lesson of the day is economy of detail. Whatever's going on over here, I don't want that. I think I'm going to once more create an extra layer that I probably don't need. Make that one lightish again. Whatever. And I'll remember at some point that I need to go back and make it less stupid. Should I even redo this one? This part? I'm gonna go back in and try to make other things less unnecessarily detailed. This is probably okay. Though I do feel like it's too wide. Why do I draw so many things too wide? What's happening here? I think I can probably leave out this area. Save me, big black shadow! I love doing a cheat to separate the head from the neck. I love not having to think about it too hard. Neck might actually need to be a little larger. I'm gonna actually have to name these layers instead of having them be layer a billion, copy a billion. Maybe that'll help me remember what things are. That can go into the junk folder. I love drawing a nondescript shape for the body and then remembering that people wear clothing actually, and I do need to actually put a shirt on that. Let's do some face. Why is there tiny dots there? Get rid of those. Get those out of here. Very hard to make an eye look like it's looking directly at you personally, without also looking a little bit cross-eyed. I'm like hallucinating my phone buzzing. I keep thinking that I hear the telltale sound of my phone buzz, and then I look at my phone and nothing's happening. I don't know where that's coming from. It's freaking me out. I don't like it. Psychic damage is kicking in. I'm going nuts. I'm going crazy. If I spend too long drawing the same thing, I start turning into the Joker. Also, I've just been sitting here in utter silence this whole time. I can't hear my own stream background music, so I hope that's actually been on this whole time. I need to be listening to music to do even like the most basic of tasks. So when I have to sit in silence for a little while, I start going a little crazy. I've been having a problem recently with my horrible evil brain, where I really want to listen to music so badly, but everything I turn on just doesn't feel correct, and so I end up listening to a single song like 60 times in a row. I wonder what that's gonna do to my Spotify Wrapped. I think I've listened to the song Erase Me by the Ben Folds 5 probably like at least 40 times a day for the past week. It's a good song, but also I don't think I should be doing that. I think that's maybe bad for my mental health. That was just the teeth. I was smart about that layer. Now I can move it wherever I want. I do often spend 30 minutes looking for the perfect song to work to. That is very real. Completely different image when you take away the eyebrows. I am insane. I am normal. Nothing I draw is gonna look right because I liked the sketch. So everything's gonna look strange and unnatural to me because it's not the sketch. Looks bad, I hate that. No! Okay. You guys, I think I might be bad. I think I might be bad at art. Okay. That looks too far away. Or too close. I don't know. It's somewhere. It's in the wrong position is what I mean. Something's not right. I don't know why drawing like a couple extra little scribbly lines around an eye makes it look crazy, but it works, so. Oh, I put that on the wrong layer. Okay, all is right in the world. Probably need to move around the features a little bit. I feel as though I may be in one of those eras that artists have where everything they draw looks terrible because they're about to level up. I've been doing a lot of practice recently. I feel like it's not paying off yet. But maybe it will soon because I'm realizing that I hate many of the things I draw. Like more than usual. I choose to believe that this signals the next evolution in my skill level or something. Please, please God, please give me my extra skill level. I really need it. I really need it very badly. I haven't leveled up in a good long while. It does seem to be a thing that actually happens. Because I've heard other people talk about, like, when you realize that everything you draw kind of looks off, it's because you now have the brain power to understand, like, that things are off that you didn't previously know were incorrect. So it's like your brain has learned, but your hands and your muscle memory hasn't quite caught up yet. So hopefully I'm about to catch up. It might take a little bit, but I have to power through. I was actually recently looking back at some of the older art that I've made for my covers and stuff, and I've been like, ugh, oh, it's so bad. And it wasn't even that long ago. Usually I don't really notice when things look bad when they're old. That might also just be because I don't generally look at old stuff that I've done because I feel like I'm gonna throw up sometimes when I do it. A friend of mine is trying to improve her art skills and posted something about a similar experience just today. Yeah, it seems to be a common thing. So hopefully that is what's happening to me, and it's not just my brain worms coming back after I spent all that time trying to get rid of them. And lately I've been getting the itch to try and draw a comic again after a long time of not drawing a comic. The problem is that I'm not very good at writing, so I have to think of something that I want to make a comic about before I can actually draw a comic. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Yeah, I've drawn comics before, not like professionally or anything, but I used to do it a bunch when I was like in middle school and high school. Like, me and my artsy friends would make little comics together. Usually somebody else was doing most of the writing. And then when I went to school I did comics for 3 years. Because my first year of college was just figure drawing and other foundations. But then I went into specifically comic book classes. So I had to make several comics. Some multi-page, some just like one page for like single assignments, but our final every year was to draw a comic. So 1 year I did an original comic, and then I realized that was really hard and I was bad at it, so the next couple years I did adaptations of stories. 1 year the adaptation of the story was a requirement, you had to do an adaptation. And mine was Jekyll and Hyde, and it turned out okay. I passed, which is the important part. Another time I did a short story called The Belonging Kind, which is about a man who, like, basically encounters a bunch of shapeshifters, and then he becomes a shapeshifter at the end. That comic I did during the plague times, so I feel like I didn't do it as well as I could have, because instead of doing it on actual paper like I had done the other ones, I had to do it on the computer to more easily, like, give it to my teachers, because we were doing everything on Zoom and stuff. and I didn't have like a comic book size scanner, so I couldn't use my big comic paper. So it was a little less good than I would have wanted it to be, but it turned out okay and I passed, which is the important part. But then after I graduated, I kind of stopped doing comics. I guess maybe I got sick of them a little bit. My one original comic that I made was about magical girls. It was kind of funny because I was doing very, like, classic power of friendship type magical girl stuff, and then somebody else in my class made a comic book about a magical girl who transforms through the power of smoking weed. And we had both of our comics up right next to each other on the wall. It was very strange. We'd like do critique or whatever and show off our pages that we made, and the person right next to me was like, here's my magical girl, her name is Mary Jane and she transforms through the power of smoking weed. And it's like very like loser stoner comic type stuff, like where the main character is a loser, and mine was like, I'm a magical girl and I solve all my problems through talking to my friends and making them feel better so that they stop turning into horrible monsters. Very, very different vibes in the critique room. Maybe make little comics about things you experience or think about in daily life. It would be a good idea if I experienced or thought about things. Generally, I'm a bit of an NPC, zombie type of person. I did actually, for a couple of my classes, have to make comics about stuff that I had experienced, but usually it was just like an event where I was there and one of my friends or like family members did something wacky and fun, and so the comic was mostly really about them and not me. I have often thought about, like, I'm not sure I want to say plots. I'm very good at coming up with, like, inciting incidents, but I'm not so good at the entire rest of the story. So whenever I think of something that I'm like, oh, that would be cool to do a comic about, I get my inciting incident and I'm like, great, what comes next? And my brain's like, sorry, that's all I got for you. Nothing else. You can do 2 to 4 pages of inciting incident and then you're out of luck. Don't know how to end a plot ever. I think my only comics that I made for that one, like, autobiographical comic class or whatever, that were actually just about me, were both about, like, dreams I had had, because dreams are inherently more interesting than real life. So I had one that was, like, just a crazy weird dream that I had, and then another one that was, I got sleep paralysis once, and so I made a comic about that. That's basically all I've got. get compliments from that particular teacher about, like, my paneling. Apparently she thought I was good at panels, which is nice. I was very happy to hear about that, because that's, like, the most important part of comics, is making sure that your panels are readable. But I did a cool one, where it was, like, a panel like this, and then, like, the character falls out of this part of the panel, and then goes downwards into, like, a big scene like this, and then comes back up and comes here. And that's not, like, actually the layout that it was, but it's the general idea of the layout. And everybody was able to read it first try, which is impressive, because if you're gonna be breaking the everything goes in one direction rule, you have to make sure you do it well. And I did it, like, basically by accident. Another one of those little things that keeps me going. Every time I feel really bad about myself, well, hey, I did those panels pretty good that one time. Sleep paralysis, for me, has never been particularly spooky. Because, like, when I sleep with my head entirely under my covers. So I've never really seen anything. Mostly it's just been like I feel stuff moving. But because I know what sleep paralysis is, and I know how to get out of it, it only lasts as long as I want it to. It's basically like my version of lucid dreaming. Like, the first one that I had, I was under my covers, and I just sort of, like, felt, like, big, like, worms crawling over me. And I was like, huh, weird. Crazy. And then I wiggled my fingers around and woke up, and I was fine. I have had a couple of other spookier ones where I thought I, like, heard my mom come into my room to wake me up, and, like, I felt something touch me, and, like, I heard a voice being like, "Sweetie, it's time to wake up," and I was like, "You are not my mother, get out of my room." That was, like, especially unsettling, but I still knew it was happening, so I broke out of it easy, but it was a bit alarming at the moment. The thing that really undermined my first sleep paralysis experience was that, I guess I had not been asleep for very long because I had fallen asleep listening to music. Like, I was listening to a specific album, and when I got into paralysis mode, the album was still playing, so I was just sitting there, like, feeling worms crawl over me, but also I was hearing a song by Jukebox the Ghost in my ears, and I was like, that kind of... My brain could have picked a better time to wake up and scare me. Because now I just have a band that I like playing, and so it kind of is not as bad. I have my good friends Jukebox the Ghost here to remind me that the worms are not real. Man, I hope this turns out better than the first try. I mean, it's certainly going faster. I haven't... Okay. I was afraid I messed up my layers for a second there. Okay. This is too long, and it's making me upset. But when I make it short, it also looks strange. No! Okay. How do I fix you? No, that looks horrible. How do I draw a fingernail on a character without it looking weird? I feel like that's the only way I can indicate that this is like pointing forward a little bit. Horrible evil shape. I hate it. I hate it. Get it out. Get it out of my house. I think I just have to, I don't know, try and make it less lumpy. It just looks so, like, weirdly fat. Why does this particular finger look so weirdly fat? I think I need to make this like move outwards. I think that's more correct. Maybe that might help. I feel like that gets rid of some of the fatness. A little better than it was before, and that's what matters. Oh, wait. I wanted to select more. I may be abusing the liquefy tool slightly. Am I doing it? Am I perhaps figuring it out? Maybe? Hopefully? Please? Like, a giant hand, and then the one that I've finally drawn. I'm gonna need to make it bigger. Because I wanted it to be, like, closer. I'm bad at foreshortening. I wonder why I instinctively draw hands so big. There's gotta be some reason for that. I know that people generally will, like, people say that the art looks like the artist. So, like, if you have a certain feature on you that is more exaggerated, you are likely to draw that feature more exaggerated. But I have pretty small hands. I kind of have, like, little baby hands. So I don't know where that comes from. Another little school anecdote that I have is, I remember one time in my figure drawing class, we got a lot of assignments to do, like, self-portraits in a mirror, because it's not like you can go get a figure to draw when you're sitting in your dorm room. And a lot of the time my teacher would be like, Eilis, you drew the eyes way too big. Stop drawing the eyes so big. Because he mentioned you will draw your own features on your art, and the first time I did it, he was like, come over here, let me, like, look deep into your eyes. And he, like, stared at my face for like 30 seconds and he was like, yeah, you have, like, really big eyes, you need to be aware of that. Stop drawing everyone with such giant cartoon eyes. This is partly that I draw so many cartoon people, and partly that I guess, have really big eyes. I never noticed before. Natural anime eyes. My big sparkly anime eyes. It's better than it was. I'm okay with that. Do need to redraw the wrist. But I'll live. It'll be okay. I liked that line, but sacrifices must be made. Wow, all this work, it's been 2 hours. I can't draw hands. I can't do it. Whenever I draw hands, it makes the art take like 80% longer than it would have normally. Okay, I'm putting that in twice. I'm going to try and embiggen it. Turn on the sketch so that I know where I put that previously. Throw a little perspective on that bad boy. Is that anything? Let's see. Maybe. I might need to fiddle with it a little bit more, but I don't want to right now. So it stays as it is. At least for the foreseeable future. Okay, I should probably actually draw hair. Since that's touching a line that I'm sure I want to keep, I don't want it to be on the same one, because then I'll have to erase a bunch of stuff if I want to move it again. Hair is nice, but also annoying, because if I draw a swoopy and it looks nice just right away, then I don't have to worry about anything ever, but sometimes the swoopies are just not swooping correctly. I think I'm making next to no difference with this. Whoa, it's the same line I started with. That's better. Trying to do math in my head. That one worked out well totally by accident. Didn't really think too hard about which shape I wanted the hair to be. Maybe we should have done that instead of just randomly drawing lines. Do I have all the hair separate? No, I do not. Let me separate out the hair. I love making new layers! Yay! My favorite! I simply cannot escape my layers. Okay. I want to make sure that I cut it up at spots where it like makes sense, so that I'm not redrawing a bunch of stuff unnecessarily. That's probably fine. Okay. Hair. So if I want to change the shape of it later, I can do so. I should probably get rid of this as well. The hair fully interferes with the hand, but we're not worrying about it right now. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is put in some background, just so that I have a general understanding of what it's gonna look like. Because this is a big square image, it's not gonna be a big square image. I need to throw in a shape. This is probably generally how it will appear. Throw some big chunks in here. That I know what parts I probably don't have to do a crazy amount of work on because there's going to be a vignette around them. That's the opposite of how I wanted it to be. I need to go into the gradient menu, give me a sec. A flip. Okay. Ooh, why is it so big? Why is there so much black in there? Gradient tool, why are you like that? Why do you do this to me? You're so unnecessarily large. For no reason. Now I kind of want it to be more centered around the middle part. Okay. I feel like I made it too wide by accident. It should be a little more circular-esque. Studio hates it when I move around big chunks of an image. It gets so upset at me. Actually, wait. Oh, that looks horrible when it's... Why does it look so bad when it's big? It needed eraser. Come on. Well, there is a trick. Wait. I can set that to transparent, I believe. I can. Erase some of that vignette I worked so hard for. The studio hates it when you use tools. It wants you to use basic pencil and nothing else. Okay. I don't even know if this is the final like texture or whatever that I'm using for the finished version. I just want it to look at least a little bit correct. Okay, turn that down. This is so unnecessary. There's that original image again. Remind me what I'm doing. Okay, it's more specifically circular. It's just the ones on the edge that are more, rectangle-y, oval-y, whatever. And then there's the black bars around the top, too. Actually. That's not what I wanted. Turn that black. Now... strategy. Okay. I don't know if I want the black bar part to actually cover up any part of the body or whatever. Let me just get rid of this chunk. I mean, that's a little bit too close, but maybe like that is okay. I don't know. I'll put a pin in it. Was this anything, or was that just totally empty? That was just totally empty. Okay, well that's generally how it's supposed to look, I guess. So I don't have to do... well, I don't have to figure out a way to end the torso. Yay, I love hiding things. I love not having to draw an entire body. I need to figure out the top of a shirt, but that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Put all my lines into here. That's not what I wanted. Okay, there's all my lines. Now... should I guess I'll pick up just a random, like, gray from in here and just fill in with it, and then fiddle with the contrast later. Also, I just realized I didn't draw the other half of that arm. I'll put that in a second. I do have that cool, fun tool that lets you fill in everything all at once, but it doesn't work for me half the time, so... Good old trusty selection drawing it is. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to fill in the space. I'm getting lazier with it as I go on. Okay. Put those up top. I was like, okay. I forgot that I made my pencil very big. Where was the sketch? There, okay. Need to warp some things into position. I didn't really think very hard about the chest area, honestly. I just sketched it in so that I remembered that I was supposed to put in a chest area. I didn't restart it, so I don't think it looks very good. It always looks like rectangular. I could probably draw it better, but I would feel like it was like gratuitous boobage. I hate boobs. Quote that. Put that on one of those quote image macros. Eilis Umbra, 2025. I hate boobs. Okay, what was I doing? They're so hard to draw without it feeling strange. I feel like there's always either too much or not enough. "99% of the time when I make a girl character, I just make her flat-chested to not have to deal with the stress." Now I just have to fiddle with proportions until I feel like it's okay. That's probably an okay place. It feels a little bit better. I tricked myself into thinking this would be kind of an easy pose to draw, and then I suffered for many an hour. I think I'm just gonna go with the classic throw a hoodie on that girl. I don't feel like thinking of a new shirt to wear. I had to draw real actual clothes recently for a different thing that I'm working on, so I'm over it. I'm going back to my comfort zone and I'm drawing the one thing I understand how to draw. Of course, that does mean I have to cover up some of the neck, which it sucks because I do kind of like the way I drew that, but whatever. We'll know it was there. And I might decide at some point later to just come into the drawing again and completely change a bunch of things. Okay, the neck area on this is way too wide because I was trying really hard not to kill my darlings and cover up the neck, but I think I have to cover up the neck. In you go. Goodbye, that one line that I liked. Forever in our hearts. As I'm drawing this, I'm thinking, yeah, probably I'm gonna decide that I hate the sweatshirt thing and change it at some point in the future. But I'll have to think on it first. I have time. I have another thing that's coming out soon, don't worry about it. I'll jingle my keys in front of you. You can look at the other thing I've been working on for a million years. This looks like bad. I was like, oh, I know how to draw this. No, I don't. I forgot. Keys where? If I had my keys, I would jingle them in front of you. I would jingle them in front of the mic. Do I have my keys? I might have my keys. Do you want me to jingle my keys at you? I have, 2 keys, I think, on my key holder. Can you hear jingling from my bag? This is a lot for a bit that isn't that funny. Are they even in here? Did I lose my keys? Where are my keys? Where are the keys to my house? I found them. That's an authentic key jingle from my real keys. I lied to you, I have 2 keys. One of them has Spider-Man on it. My dad, like a while back, made everybody keys to my parents' house. And just put, like, little characters on all of them, and mine got Spider-Man. So now I have normal person keys, I have keys with Spider-Man, and I have 3 little keychain trinkets. Nobody trusts me with keys to anywhere else. The placeholder clothing. I'm not gonna put too much effort into making this look good. This is just to make my drawing no longer in the nude after a couple hours of being in the nude. This is not a biblically accurate Eilis drawing because my sleeves are rolled up. I just don't want to cover up the lines on my wrists. I think they look nice. Cover up that indecent boob area, put that away. Delightful. So that's the general shape of it. I need to take a moment to stretch my hand. My hand hurts. My apologies. Now I'm just trying to think of what I want to do. My original plan was, like, I don't know. I think I've maybe bungled the vibe of the sketch. I often feel like I do that. Everything is, like, still generally the same shape, but I feel like something is different about it. I'm probably gonna mess with, like, the sizes of stuff. To, like, make, I don't know, make it more dramatic looking. Because the original idea was, like, touching you through the screen. So I was gonna do, like, the little on the fingers to be like, look, she's tapping the glass. So I'm gonna have to make that hand, like, significantly bigger and maybe cover up, like, part of the face with it even. But just for getting the shapes down, this is okay. The background also isn't 100% correct. I saw, in my research, a bunch of other people, were putting, like I said way earlier, people were going hard on, like, the vaguely wedding-esque theme because there's, like, a church bell in the song. And so a lot of them had, like, people in a wedding dress holding a bouquet, so I wanted to put flowers in. So I did get some reference images of flowers. I might just throw some of those in now, just to have something more than the single drawing that I've done this whole time. This is just busy work. I'm just busy working right now. Alright, there's the general shape. Here's my flower images that I got that I thought would be fun to try. We'll see how it goes. I did do kind of a vague, these little squiggle shapes were where I wanted them to be. That's why I'm thinking that I probably will put on a different little outfit just because I feel like it doesn't quite fit the vibe for me just to be wearing a regular shirt. We'll see how it ends up. I might even completely redraw the whole thing. I might decide I hate it. So, let me just take shapes. And little, like, curly things on the inside. They're all, like, very similar looking. specifically looked up flowers with like negative meanings in Hanakotaba. So I think it's interesting. Lilies are a good flower because they're very basic flower petal shape. It's like, that sure is a flower. Well, the orange ones are lilies, just orange lilies. This one, I forget. I might have the page open still, actually. Let me have it from my Wikipedia. There it is. Where was this one? Let me scroll up and down the page for a second. Fritillaria Kamskatensis. Terrible name. Why is it called that? Okay. Kamachka lily. Which has the meaning of both love and curse. Which was fun. Let me, God, I'm getting lost in my windows. So they're all lilies, but they're different flavors of lily. People really like making lilies mean horrible, sad things in flower language, I guess. Sounds weird, it's got a really skinny bit down near the bottom of the petal. This is a difficult one. They kind of melt into each other here. Okay. There are my reference shapes. I'm gonna make them all the same color. I just made those one's blue because I couldn't see the red. Ah. Now, what do I want everything to be? Okay, I know I want to put a couple, like, just coming out from behind the hair. And then probably a little bit over the arm. I don't like the perfect mirror. I can make them follow the, like, vignette. But, like, some big ones, like, out of focus in the front. Like a bad shape. I don't like that. Something about that is evil to me. Need to try and figure out a way that makes it look like it flows nicely. I should get these off of the layer so that I don't actually accidentally ruin them somehow. The darker ones sort of like dangle off the stem a little bit, so I could do those near the top so that they're still pointing towards the middle. Terrible shape, but you get the gist. I hate composition. It's gonna be a whole lot of trial and error. I don't think I want them on top. I think it's just coming out from the bottom. I think that's okay just as a shape. Excuse me while I do a bunch of things to all my layers. So I can tell I'm going to get confused. Something that I don't like about Clip Studio that it's probably just because I used Photoshop for so long when I was in school, because that was just the thing that they made us use. But in Photoshop, at least when I used it, if you selected a bunch of layers and then pressed the folder button, it would automatically put them into a folder, and Clip Studio doesn't do that, and it's very upsetting to me. Because I still do it by muscle memory even though I've been using Clip Studio for ages. Okay, sketch goes into the junk folder. What do these do? Okay, this one can go into the junk folder. This one, that one I'm keeping just in case. But I will turn it off. Honestly, I might just put the clothes in the junk layer because they're gonna distract me, so that was a waste of 10 minutes trying those. Is there anything else I need to destroy? Name that. I think that's about enough. I might just want to take the shapes that I made and like put them into place just so that I know more realistically what they're supposed to look like. What's a color that won't burn out my eyes? I need to be able to see it, but I don't want to hurt myself. That's probably okay. Maybe not. Whatever. Okay. I just need the vague suggestion of the background shape to remind me where things are supposed to go. Does that look bad? The layers, they're getting to me. What do I want to do with this one? I feel like I want to be looking at this from, like, the back. I feel like I'm doing, like, nothing with this. Okay. Why is this one shape so difficult? Whatever. There's some vague leaf shapes in there to disguise it. Actually, I hate that. Okay, well, that's good enough. I think, like, this area across is too fat, but we'll fix it in post. I'll do some excessive smudging. I might do another copy job, just because I don't feel like drawing a flower facing this direction again. There's really only so much you can do with art for a Maratu song, but I'm trying. I'm really trying hard. At least if you want to, like, at least vaguely try to keep the style, because they are very minimalist. And I am not good at minimalist. I feel compelled to put excessive detail that I'm not really very good at drawing into everything. I think those will be our main big ones, and I'll fill those in with white just so that I remember that they're supposed to be in front. And then I'll just copy-paste the pre-existing shapes into the background just to, like, fill it in, and worry about the actual attractiveness of those shapes later. I always really want to put, like, details and stuff, but I'm not great at it. I end up getting lost a lot of the time and just confusing myself. And then it's just, like, overly detailed and not in a fun way. I'm always very impressed when people make, like, really incredibly detailed art that still reads well. I need my simple shapes. I get very nervous and stressed without my simple shapes. And these, I'll keep this one just in the reference folder, and then I'll use this one, turn it to different colors so that I can see it better, and just copy paste them around the background. I'm gonna also move everything up, I think, or down, I don't know, either way. So that I have a nice empty space to put those so that I don't lose them. I need to unstrip myself one moment. I just felt like one of my neck bones popped back into place. That was uncomfortable. That was unsettling. I don't like that. I don't like when that happens. Ooh, creepy. Actually. This is just gonna be a lot of me selecting and copying and pasting stuff, and it's not gonna be very fun and interesting. My apologies. Make this one look small. I think I have to curl these down a little bit so they look like they're actually affected by gravity. Or maybe up. Yeah, if I do it this way and then like put a little point over here, it looks like they're more like cupped inwards, which I think is a little more reasonable and accurate. Not that you can really tell with all the scribblies, but I know what I mean, and I'm the one that has to finish the drawing. Okay. I don't want to put in too many. I may just have to fill in some space with leaves. The one that I haven't used yet. I think I've used all of them. I don't want to give myself any less variety than I could possibly have. Leaf time. Time for leaves. I don't like that. How about this one? I don't know if that looks weird with the arm there. Maybe. Move it a little closer. Rotate it a little bit. It looks a little bit more like it should be there. I don't think I can put that anywhere and have it look good. That looks generally like they're in an okay spot, I think. So put those below, fill those in with a different color. It looks reasonably centered. I might want to move it maybe a little bit this way. Maybe take these and move them. That looks, I think okay. A little bit of an empty spot here, but I'm probably gonna draw extra hair, and that'll help fill that in, so it's not a problem. I thought that might assist me in understanding the foreground-background situation, but I don't think it did. I'm debating on if I should, like, make a new file, just because this is a weird shape. But I don't want to lose all the extra stuff that I've put around the sides. So I need to know how all those lines connect to each other, so probably not. That'll be for really actually properly finishing it. Can I just make this white? Nah. Yeah, I think it's coming together. I do want to make other expressions for the face. Let me look up the lyrics to this song so that I can brainstorm some emotions to have. What's all this? I'm just reading for a moment. 1 second. Okay. I'm going to take the face, put that opacity way down just so that I know where all the features are. I'm gonna do some sketches. Is white the best one? Probably, just because the rest of it is gray. I'll throw in some extra feelings. Okay, I feel weird drawing them directly onto the face. I don't know why. Usually if I'm doing something with multiple feelings, I'll draw like little, like, cartoon emoticon versions of the expressions just that I know exactly what I'm doing at all times. I might have to. Okay, well we have... Stupid. I think I want to do like an angry one. Like an angry, like sad, angry cry or something. It doesn't look sufficiently angry, that just sort of looks vaguely upset. Feelings, emotions. It looks so weird when I draw it in white on black. If I was drawing this in normal colors, I'd feel like I would not feel so strange about it. This isn't supposed to be good. Why am I trying to make it look good? Put a nose in there. Don't put a nose in there. What are some other things I can do? Oh god. Panic. Wait. Okay, I keep closing windows without meaning to. I want to have like a sort of closed eyes. Like vaguely sad sort of face. We could also do like an even crazier crazy eyes. Let me get lost in my windows again. I love doing that. That's my favorite. Coming up with faces is really hard. Joker moment. Why does that look so bad? I'm becoming a little delirious. I've been drawing for too long. That almost looks like basically this one. I don't know how to exaggerate that further. I'm gonna have to actually think about that one, probably. Maybe just like a regular sort of happy. don't know why I feel like I'm so bad at drawing these stupid little expression things today. It must be the white on black. I can't imagine it being anything else. It's just, it's throwing me off. But that's just the most convenient place for me to put them. Well, 3 is probably okay for now. I'm definitely gonna turn this white though now because I feel like I'm physically incapable of drawing a face without using a black pencil. Okay. Turn that way down, almost invisible. The ghost of a face. Okay. Probably also a little bit because the face is in sort of a weird position, so I'm not really sure where all the parts go. That looks alright. Okay, I haven't completely lost my ability to draw faces in the last couple hours. That's good to know. I appreciate that. Okay. I always forget how long I spend sketching and trying to figure out what I'm even doing until I'm streaming it, and then I feel bad because I don't have a finished piece of art by the end. Okay. I feel like whenever I'm drawing like an angry clenched teeth, I sort of revert back to like Steven Universe bean mouth. Oh no, you guys, I'm doing Cal Art style. Everybody run. It's hard to make a mouth the correct shape. That feels a little too cartoons. I think it's probably the bottom lip moving downwards that causes that. At least somewhat. But otherwise it feels like weirdly like just a rectangle here. Gotta throw in my tooth. I want to look directly at the viewer. Why is it so hard to do that? Like I have to move both eyeballs around separately a million times before I can figure out the right area for them to be in. Maybe the closest that I've gotten. I'll take that for now. There's some tears on that. Yes, the hand is a vague attempt at looking like it's reaching towards you. It is definitely too small for that. I might redraw the whole thing even. I just need to get like an actual better reference. I did decide on what I was going to draw literally like 20 minutes before the stream. So I was like, oh, what stuff do I have that I could draw for? This was, I figured, my best bet because I at least had a general idea of the vibe. So basically, literally everything in this is subject to change. I do think I need to move this over, actually, now that I'm thinking about the hand again. This needs to be more over there. That might be a little bit better. I'll close down my face again. This expression feels a little bit like it might be a redraw the entire head situation, which is upsetting to think about. Like, I don't think I can fudge that. There might be a moving down of the hairline in my future if I want to try and make this look like it's actually looking down a little further. So many things to do. Maybe I should have just gone with the basic video for this and have to not do any drawing at all. That was also an option that I chose not to take. This may become a project. It looks a little bit like the thing from the Emperor's New Groove. Like Pacha being like I can't even draw the stupid hand pose. You know what I'm talking about. Big eye. Big eye okay hand sign. Don't look at it. Don't see it. My brain can't figure out how to draw that right now. Get that face off the screen. Get it away. All my hard work and I just made Pacha again. I just did Pacha. Okay. Oh. That was a fun revelation to have after however many hours I've been working on this. Okay, I'm gonna take one more look at the words to this song. See if I can get one more expression out of my brain. I think I can figure out one more. Wait. Has that been happening? I just saw my YouTube stream again and the screen was black. Has that happened like every time I've clicked off of Clip Studio? I mean, it came back, so it can't have been that much of an issue, but that's annoying. That's a little annoying. Why did it do that? Why are you doing that? Well, things happen, and I simply must live with them. Okay, one last face sketch, and then I'm gonna, I think, go to sleep. Had noticed it before. Okay, well at least that means it probably hasn't been happening for any significant length of time. That's weird. Why would that do that? I guess we had to get one technical difficulty in. Things were going too smoothly, something had to be strange. Okay. This one is pretty much the same face as this, but just without the smile, but I figure I might as well draw it in. I am going to just copy-paste the nose every time, because if I draw it different, it'll look like it's moving around the face, and that'll be weird. I want to make the eyes wider for this one, though. I'm just gonna try and put the eyes in the same spot here, because this did actually look like looking at the viewer, so... And obviously, I'm not gonna have a normal pupil in my weird, crazy, wacky, fun eye, but that's just there so that I understand it with my brain where I'm looking. Okay. I'm gonna turn that off. It's just sort of like the emotionless I am planning on killing you type of face I'm trying to do here. Let's see the scary monster. Wait. Turn on all the faces at once. I love doing this. Something's gone horribly wrong in the Eilis factory. Okay. Alright. I think that's all the juice I have in me for right now. I don't think I can, fathom continuing at this point in time. Oops, all Eilis is. Okay, well, this is okay for now, I think. I always say that. I always don't finish something and then say it's okay for now. Maybe one day I'll finish a drawing in public. Maybe that'll happen eventually. I'm thinking of all the little things I could do. Maybe at one point I just kill all the flowers for dramatic effect. I guess you'll see in 6 months when I figure out how to make a video featuring this. But I've got the idea down, and that's the important part, because the idea was very vague in my head a few hours ago, and now it's mostly solid. So, thanks. I am so sorry about my horrible technical difficulty problem that I keep having. I don't know why the universe hates me, and I don't know how to fix it, but I will probably spend all of tomorrow trying to get my gamer computer to work. And we'll see, maybe by next weekend I'll actually be able to play a video game properly without everything going horribly wrong. I guess we'll see. Everybody pray for me, please. And I'll see you guys when I see it. Now I'm afraid of, like, clicking off of Clip Studio just in case it disappears. Are you gonna disappear? No, it's still there. Okay. Scuff follows all. I can't believe I'm being haunted by the scuff ghost. Can't I just have one good day? Yeah, but thanks for coming. I'll see you when I see you, and good night, goodbye, good night, goodbye, good night, goodbye. Actually, I always say things after my good night, goodbye, because I remember them after I feel like I'm done. There will actually, for real, after like 6 months, be a cover coming. Probably actually within the next week, because I literally just have to like draw one additional background element and shove it into my video project, and then I'll be finished. So look forward to that. Okay, now for real, good night, goodbye, good night, goodbye, good night, goodbye.